Amber Melissa Fox was my sister. She was born on a mild spring morning on the 27th of May in 1979 in Allentown, Pennsylvania. She was the first child for our parents, newlyweds, Mary Colwick and David Fox, and was quickly joined by myself 13 months to the day in June. Mary and Dave realized that they were not able to meet each other's needs, and they divorced in 1980, right before Amber's second birthday. Amber was a natural leader, even from a very young age, often encouraging mischief and scheming up ways to escape her crib. One time, the clever escape artist helped me to sneak out of the house and climb all of the stairs to check out the roof of our apartment complex. She was around 2 years old, and I was just about 1. A panicked neighbor ran to our apartment door and got our mom, and my mom was horrified. She bolted to the rooftop to collect us. We were teetering on the edge, so she saved us, really. Amber started kindergarten in Whitehall when we lived near Parkview Apartments on Fairmont Avenue, right by Jordan Creek. We often played outside and took many adventures walking the tracks into the wooded park area. We were often mistaken for twins, especially when we went out, because we were often dressed the same. Occasionally, we were referred to as double trouble. We relocated numerous times throughout our childhood to places like Reading, Lebanon, and Scranton, and then eventually back to Whitehall. Amber was particularly good at making friends and creating games to play. We spent a lot of time outside or by ourselves, and sometimes we would play in our room and get up to lots of scandalous Barbie scenarios, including extreme makeovers and sometimes hideous make-unders, thanks to markers, glitter glue, and scissors. We were latchkey kids who walked to school and back by ourselves, unless we were lucky enough to be on a bus line. And we gave our mom plenty of gray hairs with our antics. Amber thought it would be a good idea to create a swing in the basement by tying a rope to a cord on the ceiling. What we didn't realize is that it was our telephone line, and we immediately snapped it as soon as we started to swing from it. Our mom was not impressed, and we got into a huge amount of trouble. Another time, we were playing this very elaborate game of My Little Pony featuring rainbows and pink fluffy clouds. What we didn't know was that it was pink fiberglass insulation, so our fingers had glass shards in them for over a week. We have lots of stories like this from our childhood. Our mom and dad found happiness with other partners, and both got remarried, bringing a sense of light and hope to our lives, as well as darkness. My mom had married a man who ended up being a monster and a catalyst for pain, abuse, and further trauma. My dad married Sonia, who was a breath of fresh air and had a son named Christopher. Sonia was kind, patient, and nurturing, and it was really hard for Amber and myself to feel safe and trust such a stable, calm adult. The elephant in the room is addiction and a cycle of trauma that was difficult for our parents to break free from. It caused deep wounds in not only themselves, but rippled through to their own children. Trauma is a generational experience, and those who have had contact with it will understand that it often causes systemic, lifelong wounds. Despite the obstacles and pushing through trauma, Amber was bright and eager to learn. She was good at science, math, and loved Spanish. She was good at defending things she cared about, including her spot on the school bus, and convincing Pop-Pop to buy an entire case of chocolate Yoo-Hoo because it was more cost-effective. She was great at things like that. Amber was very excited to welcome another sibling in August of 1989 when Erica was born. It was a pivotal part of our family experience, and Amber was warm, gentle, and caring. When Amber was in middle school, she joined choir, and she realized that she loved to perform. Our mom got us a camcorder for Christmas, and we made so many movies, Amber scripting so many scenes for added drama or humor, and she was infamous for both. Amber loved the spotlight. Music was a tool that Amber frequently revisited throughout her life. We were fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with our Pop-Pop and even live with him for a few years, before he passed away in 1992. He had a piano that Amber became fascinated with when she was young. She ended up taking lessons, and she would pour her whole heart and soul into the music that she played. I can still hear it, and I can definitely still feel it, the emotions that she'd play in Moonlight Sonata. She was heavily influenced by musicians like Madonna and Janis Joplin, Karen Carpenter, 9 Inch Nails, The Doors, Dusty Springfield, so many others. Amber found solace in religion when she was around 13. It was the fellowship and care that she had been seeking for a long time, and it helped her feel connected, and it offered her comfort. She was the driving force for encouraging others around her to seek answers themselves, including my dad, Sonia, and myself. While she didn't stay with the church that initially inspired her, she did consistently feel connected to religious beliefs throughout her life. Amber was very good at inspiring others to try something. As you can imagine, as a teen in the 90s, with the life that she had been exposed to, Amber drifted between my mom and my dad's house, trying to find balance and freedom. She started high school at Whitehall, and then she left for a little while to go to Deerfield and Allentown and returned back to Whitehall to finish out her school years. When Amber was in 12th grade, our youngest sister, Angelina, was born in 1995, which was a huge blessing. Amber always was able to find friends wherever she went. She wouldn't have called herself popular in high school, but she wouldn't have wanted to be. She was happy with the friends that she had, and she had people she could relax and be authentic with. She always seemed to be so much older than me, even though we were only a year apart. And she was definitely always cooler than I was, or at least I felt she was. After she graduated in 1996, Amber had moved into her own apartment, as her relationship with her mom was strained. Later in the same year, our dad suddenly passed away at the age of 49. I was with Amber at her apartment when we got the call. She was devastated by the loss, as we all were. Amber and I moved in with each other in an apartment in Allentown. I had just started grade 12, and Amber was working at Sam's Club, making plans for her future. She had been inspired by Pop-Pop and his career in the Air Force and wanted to follow in his footsteps. Amber attended basic training in the spring of 1998 at San Antonio, Texas. I was able to attend her graduation ceremony. She was so proud of herself, and I was so proud of her. By 1999, she was medically discharged and moved back to Allentown. She was good at reinventing herself and picking up the pieces and making goals for what she really wanted. Amber worked as a waitress off and on throughout her life, at places around Lehigh Valley like Cossie Snyder's and the City View Diner. She also did some DJing as she loved music. Amber attended Reading Area Community College and Allentown Business School. Amber met the love of her life, Rocky Weston, and they eventually married after dating for a while. They worked to overcome challenges in their relationship, often seeking guidance from their local church community. Unfortunately, we hadn't had the best exposure to healthy, functioning adult relationships, and it was difficult for her to navigate with the scars that she carried on her heart. But before long, Rocky and Amber were blessed with children. The demands of motherhood were intense for Amber. She would speak about feeling overwhelmed. Despite various ways, she did try to cope. Amber attended church, she recommitted herself to God, and she was rebaptized. Despite her efforts, it was apparent after a while that she was losing herself in the process of trying to raise children. She had wounds that had never healed and kept her from seeing herself as a capable wife and mother. sending her into self-destruct mode. When she was confident, she was strong and able, and she could move mountains. However, when she felt defeated and unworthy, she would self-medicate and push people away who loved her, including her husband. Amber wanted her children to have a better life than she could provide for them. She made the ultimate sacrifice and gave them up for adoption so that they could live their best lives in stable, loving homes. As you can imagine, this decision was very difficult for our family, and it caused a lot of detachment and separation. Amber moved away to start again, trying to push past the pain of loss. She landed in Brooklyn, New York, where she spent several years looking for comfort and solace. In 2014, our mom died at the age of 56. It was a complicated time and difficult for her to process the loss. Amber sort of drifted through the next few years, and she eventually moved to Las Vegas in 2018, looking again for a fresh start in a new place. We don't know much about her life there, but we know it was very difficult for her. She had reached out to Rocky, her husband, again, and they had been separated for so many years, but she was hoping to rekindle something. But they never got the opportunity to. Amber was very good at rising above the obstacles and finding friendships. It was really a boiling hot day in Las Vegas on the 29th of May, 2020, when Amber was walking down the street with some friends that she had made. But something wasn't right. Amber had difficulty walking. Her friends were very concerned and they rushed to get her some help, but when the paramedics arrived, they were unable to revive her. Amber was 42 years old, and she had just celebrated her birthday 2 days before. Amber self-medicated with alcohol to ease a lifetime of pain in her heart. The prolonged use, coupled with the extreme heat, is what caused her to pass away too soon. Amber was a beautiful person who had a radiating smile. She could be a strong leader and very caring. Despite not thriving as a mother, Amber did have the best of intentions. Her selfless love gave her children the best chance for success and stability. The foundation of her life was irreparably damaged in the process of surviving childhood. The sadness for our family is in the comeback story that we didn't get to see into fruition, as her life was just cut too short. Her children will never get to speak to her when they are grown and ask her the difficult questions and get those difficult answers. We honor her spirit and her journey into making a meaningful life, and we hope that now she can rest in peace. In closing, I wanted to read an extract from the Velveteen Rabbit that I felt sort of summed up a bit of my feelings. "Real isn't how you are made," said the Skin Horse. "It's a thing that happens to you. When a child loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with, but really loves you, then you become real." "Does it hurt?" asked the rabbit. "Sometimes," said the Skin Horse, for he was always truthful. "When you are real, you don't mind being hurt." "Does it happen all at once, like being wound up?" he asked, "or bit by bit?" "It doesn't happen all at once," said the Skin Horse. "You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't happen often to people who break easily, or have sharp edges, or who have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off, and your eyes drop out, and you get loose in the joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all, because once you are real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand." "I suppose you are real," said the rabbit. And then he wished he had not said it, for he thought the Skin Horse might be sensitive. But the Skin Horse only smiled. The boy's uncle made me real, he said. That was a great many years ago. But once you are real, you cannot become unreal again. It lasts for always. Amber and I were not particularly close towards the end of her life. I sort of always thought that we would have an opportunity to come back together again, that this period, this space, this distance would be some sort of healing and we would recover from it. I tried really hard not to focus on regret in my life and just accept where I am in the moment. I won't get that chance with Amber. But one thing I do know is that without Amber, I would not have survived my childhood. We bore witness to each other's journey, bolstering each other up when needed. Amber took care of me. She guided me. She protected me. She was my big sister, and she will always be my big sister. She gave me courage to be stronger than I really was. I truly believe that my resilience in life was built on the foundation of her love. Finally, I just wanted to read a Native American quote. May the stars carry away your sadness. May the flowers fill your heart with beauty. May hope forever wipe away your tears. And above all, may silence make you strong.